Welcome back to Unlispace!
In today's science lesson, we'll learn about the food chain.
Now, Unlispace kids, let's do our activity. Directions, cross it out. Analyze the sets of animals to identify which one does not belong to the group. Cross out the animal that eats different food from the others. Are you ready? Let's begin! What did you have for breakfast today? What does eating breakfast do for our bodies? Where do you think the energy from the food come from? How does energy coming from the sun being transferred from one organism to another? Energy from the sun is transferred from one organism to another through a process that begins with photosynthesis and continues along the food chain. Now, children, let's arrange the scrambled letters to form a meaningful word. Then, define each word. Observe the pictures, children. How do you think these plants and animals depend on each other? Can you identify the different organisms in the food chain? Look closely. We have corn, a rat, and an owl. Each of them has an important role in the food chain. How would you classify each organism based on its position in the food chain? First, we have the corn. Corn is a producer. Why? Because it makes its own food using sunlight, air, and water through the process called photosynthesis. Next, we have the rat. The rat is a primary consumer because it eats the corn. Animals that eat plants are called herbivores. And lastly, we have the owl. The owl is a secondary consumer or a top predator. It eats the rat, and no other animal in this food chain eats the owl. How are the organisms in the food chain interconnected? The organisms in the food chain, plant, rat, and owl, are interconnected through a series of energy transfers, where each organism plays a specific role in the ecosystem. When the owl eats the rat, the energy that originated from the plant is transferred up the chain, demonstrating the flow of energy and interdependence among these organisms. What is a food chain? A food chain is a linear sequence that shows how energy and nutrients flow from one organism to another in an ecosystem. It represents the path of energy as it moves through different levels, from producers to consumers, and sometimes to decomposers. What happens to the energy as it moves through the food chain? As energy moves through a food chain, it flows from one organism to the next, but only a portion of the energy is passed on at each level. Can you explain why energy decreases as it moves up the food chain? Energy decreases as it moves up the food chain because much of it is used and lost as heat, with only a small portion passed to the next level. This explains why food chains usually have more producers than top-level predators. What would happen to the food chain if one organism were removed? If one organism is removed from a food chain, it can have a ripple effect, disrupting the balance of the ecosystem. Why is it important to have a balance in the number of producers, consumers, and decomposers in an ecosystem? A balanced ecosystem supports biodiversity, resilience, and sustainability. Producers, consumers, and decomposers are interconnected and rely on each other for energy, population regulation, and nutrient cycling. Maintaining balance among them is crucial for a healthy and functioning ecosystem. Now, it's activity time! Let's do activities 1 to 3. Do this on your own, Unlispace kids. I know you can do it! For generalization, using the graphic organizer, reflect on your learning by creating a 1-minute paper by answering the question. Now, kids, it's time for our assessment. For the direction, read carefully the questions and choose the letter of the correct answer.